Well, hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pitocin, and if this is your first time here, welcome. Please remember to like, subscribe and share my videos with your peeps so that we can keep the family growing. The worst thing happened to me this morning. While I was taking a bath, my nail broke. Okay, it broke and it's my pinky and it's so painful. I felt like screaming, but anyway, we move, right? So in case you don't follow me on Instagram, if you don't, please do follow me on Instagram. I'll put my handle down below. But if you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably won't know that I'm a new mom to my baby girl. So I thought I should share my birth story, my labor story, and how I found out that I was pregnant. And I'm gonna combine the two stories, just so that it's not like two long videos and then you get bored and all of that, right? Sure. So I'm in a relationship with my daughter's dad, and we've been dating now for 2 years. And when we started dating, you know, most when you start dating, you share your dreams, your goals and all of that, and we were both not in a place to have kids, right? But we were still both like right? Nonetheless, we found out that we were pregnant last year, and we were both devastated. Okay, both devastated. But before that, I had a regular period. I had a very regular period, and I never missed, like never. I've had my period since maybe 13 years, if I'm not mistaken, and I've had it every single month at the time that I was supposed to have it, right? And then at that time, like, I even knew how to count my days. I've been to enough gynaes. I have friends who are doctors. I have acquaintances. Listen, so I just knew when my dates were and all of that. So I wasn't preventing. I was not. Don't ask me what I was thinking, okay? Because I also don't know where my mind was at. But I thought to myself, you know what? I know how to count my days. And my partner and I, we love each other. We're gonna get married one day. So if it happens, it happens. That's the mindset that I had at that time. Naive. And I'm so embarrassed to say this, but I was very naive, okay? Fine. So this particular month I missed my period, and I was like, this is very weird. Okay, this is very weird. And remember, in 2021 it was lockdown, then no lockdown, then lockdown. You know, it was the up and down of the lockdowns, and I was living with him at the time. So there was a week that I came home. And when I was home, my favorite meal in the whole wide world is cooked meal, that is mincemeat, right? Whether it's vegan mince, whether it's ground beef, whether it's any sort of mince, as long as it tastes good, I'm there. Mince with macaroni, with cheese, with rice, whatever. But I love mince, okay? So before I left his place, we had like vegan mince, because he's vegan, right? So we had vegan mince, and man, it was not smelling nice. It was not smelling like the mince that I love, you know. And then I came home, and when I was home with my parents, my mom was like, I should cook mince for that evening, right, for supper. fine, I cook mince, but I'm like, this mince doesn't smell nice. Like, even before I cooked it, right, I was like, this mince smells rotten, ne? But it's not clicking in my mind. And then I cooked it and everything, and it was still smelling off. Like, it was off, and I didn't eat it. Then I missed my period, and I was like 5 days late. So I call my brother and I tell him, listen, I think something's going on here. And then he laughed at me. That little bugger laughed at me, okay? And he was like, you should take a pregnancy test. So I said to him, nope, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test when I'm with my baby's dad, right? And we're gonna find out together. If ever this is it, we're gonna find out together. And the president of South Africa had announced that we were going on level 3 or level 4 lockdown. So I was like, I'm not gonna spend my lockdown days at home with my parents. I'm gonna spend them with my mans. So I quickly got the first bus and I went to him, right? And before I got there, I called him and I was like, please buy pregnancy tests, okay? And he bought 2 at a pharmacy. It wasn't a clear blue test. It was just a normal pharmacy test. So he bought 2 of them. When I got there, he didn't even need to ask. I was nauseous, I was extra tired, I was just not having it, right? So then I got there at around 5:30 in the evening. So normally they'll tell you the best time to take a pregnancy test is in the morning, right? With your first pee and stuff. But I was like, I can't wait until morning. I want to take the first test now. And then I took the test, and it was so vividly clear. I was pregnant, okay? Our hearts dropped. Our hearts dropped, okay? Our hearts. He was angry with himself and I was angry with myself. And obviously, because tensions are high and everything, we both looked at each other like, this is not the direction that we should be going and stuff like that. So we just both stayed in our silence and we just processed everything and a couple of weeks later rather, I told my parents. I told my mom first. They were shocked. They were very, very shocked, but they quickly came out of that shock and they were extra protective after that. And then my mom said I should come home and spend my pregnancy at home because this is their first grandchild. Granted, it's my partner's parents' first grandchild also, but you know what they say about the grandchild, the first grandchild being the girl's parents' child. Am I making sense? Yeah, 1 + 1 is 2, man. You getting me? So I came home and I let them take care of me. Listen, throughout the 10 months of my pregnancy, I was pregnant for a long time, a long time. Also because I found out very, very quickly. I found out, I think I was 5 weeks. Yeah, I was 5 weeks pregnant. So yeah, I was pregnant until 42 weeks. Yeah, I was 42 weeks. And that's how we found out that we were pregnant with our little bean. And I want to say, right, the line of my pregnancy test, it was so dark. It wasn't even, there was no doubt of, I remember I took the pregnancy test at 5 o'clock, 5:30 in the evening, not in the morning, but the line was still dark. I should have gotten the light at that time. That there's something about this child back then, all right? But I didn't. I was just like, sharp. Then my daughter took a long time to drop and go inside the birth canal so that I can give birth naturally. So I went to the hospital and I was induced. The doctor, at first, I gave birth on a Tuesday. It was the 8th of March, right? So the Friday, I went to the hospital, and a doctor I gave birth in a public hospital. So the doctor PV'd me and he swept my membranes, meaning that he opened the cervix a little bit to sort of open the airways, the way for my daughter to come out, but it was still very closed. And remember, I was a very tiny person before I became pregnant, and then the pregnancy just made me blow up. The pregnancy just made me blow up and stuff. So yeah, the baby was rather really big. I think she was 3-point-something kgs. Yeah, she was a big baby for a girl. So when the doctor PV'd me, it was so painful. It was so uncomfortable. It was, oh, what are you doing? And he was a large man, meaning that his fingers were rather large, okay? But anyway, that was the Friday. So he was like, no, if I haven't given birth or if I don't have any pains by Monday, I should come through. Monday morning, I should be the first patient that he sees. Monday morning, I woke up, my partner was here, my mom was here, my dad was here. So they took me to the hospital. When I got to the hospital, they were not allowed to come in with me. They had to leave. It's a public hospital, governmental hospital, so there's no support whatsoever. They believe that you should go in, you should be a big girl and just go in by yourself and do the things and get the hell out of there. So I got in and I was so full of fear. I don't want to lie. I was full of fear. I was anxious that I'm gonna do this alone. I was in pain, but in my head. It wasn't like physical pain. It was mental pain. I don't know because of what. But I think the fact that I knew that I'm gonna do this alone, yeah, that put a whole lot of fear in my mind. So then afterwards, they admitted me in the hospital. They did all the paperwork that was needed, and after that they gave me a bed, and then a doctor came and they PV'd me again, and I was still like 0 centimeters dilated. Nothing was happening. So they explained to me that they're going to induce me into labor. And inducing basically just means that they're going to give me medication that helps the cervix to open, and that helps the baby to go down into the birth canal, and then it basically helps the baby to come out, right? I was like, sharp, I'm prepared for this. I'm gonna do this. I was full of fear, but I was prepared for it. Okay, does it make sense? Yeah. But the one thing that I was prepared for is the nasty comments and the ill treatment from the nurses, because I've heard horrible stories about nurses in a public hospital. But to my surprise, none of that happened. Honestly speaking, there were no comments, no nasty comments. from the doctors, from the student doctors, from the nurses and student nurses, none of that. The only difference is they're not there to nurse your feelings. They're there to nurse your body, your physical body. So they were just like quick in, quick out. If they PV you, they don't have time to be, oh, how you feeling? No, there's none of that. They're like, open your legs. Let's do this. Cut. Hey, fast, and everything was done, right? Fine. Then the student doctor came and he explained that he's going to give me a balloon type of thing that will be put in my vajayjay, and it's going to open the cervix just a little bit before they induce. So that balloon thing is filled with water. It's a small thing like this. Yeah, they put it in. It wasn't painful. He was rather very gentle. There's a lot of different doctors, so all of them, some are short, some are tall, some are big, some are small, you know. So it just depends on who's handling you at that specific moment, and you just have to take it and move on with life. Fine. So then after that, that balloon thing had to drop. It had to come out of me naturally, for them to see that I'm ready to be given this medication that's going to open my cervix until 10 centimeters. And 10 centimeters is, I think it's this big or a bit bigger, I'm not sure. Yeah, just take a ruler and look at 10 centimeters here and here, okay? Sharp. So then the thing finally dropped at around 10 o'clock in the evening. So they put it in at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, and then it dropped 10 p.m. yeah, at night. So then after it dropped, they gave me the first shot of Pitocin. Funny thing, I learned at a seminar that I was at that Pitocin is made up of chemicals that have sperm. So if you and your partner are active while you are in while just before you go give birth, you give birth earlier or fast, you give birth quicker because of that sperm. So it comes back to my point and my thinking that God knew what he was saying when he said, do not fornicate before you get married. Do not get into fornication. Like, do not have sex before marriage. Because in marriage, he knows that you will have all the sex that you need, you will have all the sperm that you need, you will have all the hormones that you need, and you will have all the support that you need. Whereas if you're not married, you have to deal with distance, families, politics, judgment, and so because me and my partner, we're not married, we had to live apart during my pregnancy, and therefore we couldn't engage as much as we could have when we were married, if we had been married at that time. I don't know if you get me, but yeah, anyway, so this Pitocin has chemicals of sperm in it. So married people, please during your whole pregnancy, have as much sex as possible. And when you go give birth, if you start feeling the pains, listen, have as much sex as possible, okay? This is medical, this is scientific, it's also spiritual, it's everything you can think, it's emotional, it's every single thing that you can think of. So yeah, don't think of the pains during that time, think of I need to get this baby out as quickly as possible and as painless as possible. So the sperm makes way for the baby to come out, right? It makes way for your cervix to open. So yeah, anyway, so I was given the Pitocin, my first dose of Pitocin at 12 a.m. 12 midnight. I drank it, and these pains were like doosh. They came as a brick of walls on top of me. 2 a.m. I was given the second dose. 4 a.m. I was given the third dose. And 30 minutes before you get your dose, right, you need to go to the bathroom and all of that, and then they put in that belt around your waist to feel the baby's heartbeat. So my baby's heartbeat was not beating as regular as it should. It was very irregular. So meaning her life was in danger. And then at 6 a.m. they concluded that my baby was in distress, and therefore I was losing oxygen, she was losing oxygen. It was a whole mess that was happening. 8 a.m. in the morning, they were supposed to give me another dose of Pitocin, but they stopped because I think at the time I was 4 centimeters dilated. From 4 centimeters at 9 a.m. I was 7 centimeters dilated. And yeah, that's how quickly it was working. However, my baby's life was in danger. My life was also in danger. So they had to act quickly, and therefore they told me that, listen, your baby's heartbeat is irregular and she's in distress, so we're gonna have to take you to an emergency C-section. Now I start panicking even more than I was panicking. I started feeling these pains even more than I was feeling them at the time. And remember, I'm in communication with my partner and my mom this whole time, but at that time I couldn't even text. I couldn't even, after they broke down the news to me, I couldn't even communicate. So I just sent my mom a voice note. I was crying, I was emotional. I sent her a voice note telling her that the baby's in distress and that she should pray. I sent the same voice note. I just forwarded it to Lungile, and when he received it, he also prayed, and the nurses and the doctors all came rushing to me, and they prepared me for theater. I got into theater, and they asked me, what are you gonna do? What are you here for? So I had to explain, I'm here to give birth via C-section, and that's why I'm in theater right now. And then they prepped me, they prepped my body and all of that. I was now in so much pain. Right now I'm 8 centimeters dilated, right? Yeah, I was 8 centimeters dilated, and I was in a lot of pain, but they couldn't stop. They couldn't just let me have the pains and hope that the baby would come in an hour or so. They had to move quickly because the baby's life comes first. Life comes first. Both our lives come first, but the baby's life is the most important in that moment, in that case. So they put an anesthetic on my back. Yeah, a big needle on my back, but I didn't feel it. The pains, the contractions were coming so badly that I didn't feel the pain on my back, like the needle on my back. Yeah, and from there I didn't feel anything at all. They put me down slowly, they put me on my back, and then they put a curtain in front of me, and that's how my baby was born. At 29 minutes past 1 in the afternoon, she was born. Before her whole body, now this is where I'm getting to, before her whole body came out, it was just her face that had come out, okay? And she was already screaming like there was no tomorrow. Excuse me, she was screaming like there was no tomorrow. Then I remembered the line on the pregnancy test was so vivid, it was so dark, it was so clear, because it was I think it was warning me that this baby is going to be very loud in everything. She's going to be bold, she's going to be everything that I didn't think that she would be at the time that I should have thought it. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, that's how my baby was born. And ever since, she's been very, very, very loud. Loud in her crying, loud in her laughing, loud in her showing appreciation for food, loud in her showing that she's hungry, loud in showing that she's sleepy or whatever, loud in her playing, loud. She is a loud baby, and she shows her presence in a very loud way. And at first it drove me crazy, but now I'm at a point where I'm really appreciating the life that I've been blessed with. She's now 7 months old and 2 weeks, and yeah, I just wanted to share that I'm a mom now. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please continue to show some love in the comments below. Please subscribe, like the video, and share with your peeps. Please, 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 please. May God love on you. May God bless you. May God guide you and keep you in all your ways. Mwah. I love you guys.